Hey friends, I recently put out a post and said, what are the different questions you have about social media for network marketers? And I got a bunch of questions. I'm going to answer a few of them today. The first one I'm going to answer is, where do I begin? Also, how do I organize myself prior to approaching a digital business or digital marketing? And where do I find fun, creative marketing material? The second question is how and when to hire help for social media posting and managing. The third, how to not be salesy, but how to be balanced with information and fun posts, how to get other people to comment. And just a general, like, could you please address strategic posting versus ignoring the ever-changing algorithm? So I'm excited to go through these questions for you, and I hope that they are helpful and they bring clarity and encouragement to you. So here we go. Where to begin? Also, how to organize oneself prior to approaching a digital business or digital marketing. Where to find fun, creative marketing material. I am none of those. So the good news, and I don't know if it's bad news, it's just news, is that social media networking is about building relationships. It's not social media selling with advertising. So specifically where we work with clients on Facebook, it's the biggest profile. Most of our clients use Facebook. And so that's the one we start them out with. And this creates like a question around, do I use my personal page, a group, a business page? So I want to recommend to start with your personal profile. Facebook is already going to have a lot of ads, right? You don't want to be a person that floods the news feed with ads. You want to have them connect with you on a human level outside of your business. When you look at the network marketing industry, for the most part, if I were to look at all your first 30 customers and say, how did you know them? It was they connected with you reason outside of your business, which then built trust inside of your business. Then of course there are referrals, and that's kind of a different thing. So start with your personal profile for sure. Fun and creative marketing material isn't all that effective for building an authentic brand. The definition of authentic is like undisputed origin. So if you're looking for marketing material, remember, we're not doing advertising, we're helping people get to know you. So create posts each day that give people a behind the scenes look into your life. Ask them the questions you would ask a friend. Tell them the stories you would share with a friend. Tell them oh my gosh, you have to hear about this thing that you would give to your friend, and invite them to the things you would invite your friends to. The second question, when and how to hire help for social media posting and managing. Now, in general, I do not recommend this for network marketers, because you want to delegate things in your business. As your business grows, you delegate the things that don't fall in the only I can do. So there are things in my business that are like only Tasha can do, and then there are all the other things. For me, in the only I can do is only I can do the teaching at this point. Only I can do my own story posts, tell stories about my own life. The only things I can do, I need to keep doing the things I can do. And for me, I'm in a brand building, like a trust, like you have to trust me personally type of business. And so are you, which means that social media networking in general becomes an only you can do thing. So I still to this day do almost all of my social media. Now there are some exceptions. My business partner proofs and edits all of my stories to make sure they're coherent. Our ops person takes all the Facebook content and reposts it elsewhere just so we exist. So some of the technical parts of the video, like reposting it to multiple platforms, turning it into the podcast, things like that. Honestly, we don't get a ton of business over on those platforms because I live specifically on Facebook. Now, if you happen to be watching this video on YouTube or on the podcast, that doesn't mean that those areas are bad. It's just the place where I show up, and the content creation, and I'm going to get into the different types of posts here in a minute, are typically done by the person who is building the brand. Now, there are some things that are not in the only I can do place. So a couple that I mentioned, like reviewing and editing, if that's necessary. It probably isn't necessary unless you have a large business like I do, where that kind of stuff matters, or it makes money to do that. Optimizing for other platforms. One of the things we'll teach is like comment below to get details on whatever. And once that starts to get to the point where you can't manage it anymore, then it makes sense to hire an assistant to respond to those. Now, on your personal page, you're going to be creating stuff real time because it's real time networking. If you run a customer group, and we do a mastermind once a year on how to run a customer group, what we do recommend is to create 90 days worth of content on the top 10 to 12 problems and goals and needs that your product achieves. And so this is like a customer group, or for potential customers, it's product specific. Once you create that first 90 days, I do believe you can leave that a little bit and have a virtual assistant schedule all those posts for the next 90 days once you approve the calendar. Those are a few things you can do with a virtual assistant, but it's actually not a lot because it's really important that you're the one building relationships with people. It's a relationship, right? Personal connection business, not an e-commerce business. And I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up. The next question is how to not be salesy, but how to be balanced with information and fun posts, how to get others to comment. So we teach a 5-post strategy. This is the one my business coach taught me. First type of post is engagement posts. They're conversation starters. Story posts, I'm not talking about like the story function that disappears after 24 hours. I'm talking about behind the scenes, like here's the story behind this picture, so that they get to know you. Value posts, which are like think help a fall Honda dealer stuff, like, hey, I found this thing and it's really cool, I think it will be great for you. Action posts, which are usually invitations to take a next step towards something, and social proof when that's applicable. Network marketers are going to connect and create likability with things we have in common with other people in the feed. We don't post to sell. We don't actually even, you don't want to sell in Messenger either. What you want to do is create engagement, comments, and reactions in the news feed. And then when people like and comment, then you want to just like check in with them on Facebook Messenger and say, hey, how are you doing? I saw this thing that you did. I liked it. I hope you're doing awesome. And we're building that friendship to see, do they mention a need, right? Or we go back to them and invite them to an event, like a one-on-one or a webinar or share a video or something. That's called a conversion event, the thing you invite them to. Is usually one-on-one, like a webinar, maybe an in-person, depending on, right, what makes sense, an in-person gathering, or maybe your company uses like a video or something. But we go back and we, expose them to that conversion event, and the conversion event does the selling. So the news feed doesn't actually do the selling. And that's why your news feed doesn't have to be salesy. The last question is about strategic posting versus ignoring the ever-changing algorithm. So a lot of people attempt to do what's called beat the algorithm. The algorithm, so a lot of people think the algorithm changes all the time. The algorithm, in my opinion, doesn't change all the time. What the algorithm is designed to do is it's designed to give people content that they like and want to engage with. So when business owners try to trick the algorithm, right, it will backfire. So in order to really set up your strategies, we actually bypass the algorithm and think in terms of what do people enjoy on social media? How do they feel? How do we make people on social media feel smart, funny, and cool? And we create content that does that. And the 5-post strategy that I just talked about, and creating authentic content, will bypass the algorithm and create posts that users enjoy interacting with. Now they'll get healthy engagement, they'll please the social media users, and then the algorithm will start to favor you. So when there are typically algorithm changes, the people who do actually post and actually are on social media to be social typically don't see a huge problem. It's the people that are not trying to create authentic connection that see the problems. So the things that the algorithm is trying to avoid, and this is because users don't like these things, are things that actually look like advertisements but aren't sponsored. They don't like inauthentic content. So it wasn't actually created by you, it was copied and pasted elsewhere, or it's an image that, right, you ripped and a lot of people are using, asking for engagement, like, please like this message, things that make other people feel bad, like rants, and external links leaving the platform. Now, it doesn't mean you can't do any of those things. It just means you have to understand that the consequence is that it's not the experience that the social media platform is trying to make people feel good, not bad. So if we just create our content from the get-go to make people feel good, smart, funny, and cool, then we're in good shape. And the 5-post strategy does that without having to worry about the Facebook algorithm. So those are the answers to these frequently asked questions. I hope that it was helpful for you and brought you clarity and encouragement that you can do well. And if you need more detailed strategy, just let us know. We're glad to help. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon.